Like Toastmasters gets a lot of hate too. I'm perfectly aware of this. Uh, I have made blogs and videos on the pros and cons of Toastmasters. I'll start off with the cons, the bad news first, and then I'll talk about the pros. First of all, Toastmasters is a global public speaking club that helps you out with planned speeches, evaluations, and impromptu speaking. Okay. Alongside that, there are different positions that you can volunteer for. You could be the grammarian, where you're monitoring other people's grammar. You could be the timer. You could be the general evaluator. You could be the Toastmaster, the guy who leads the meeting. There are plenty of different speaking opportunities. So that's what Toastmasters is. Now, some of the cons is that one con is that they get you really focused at times on the filler words, where occasional filler words I don't think is bad. I actually think it's a good thing because it humanizes your message more. And a lot of smart people, like let's say a person reads a lot, you'll notice that they say a little bit more because their ideas are so grand that they need a little bit of leeway in order to generate the idea. So every now and then, I think Toastmasters focuses a little too much on the filler words, or at least they did for one particular club that I was in. Another con of Toastmasters is depending on the size of the club. If it's a very small club, then what will happen is that a lot of newbie speakers are going to be called to evaluate someone else's speech. But I don't think that's smart because a newbie speaker is not in the position to evaluate someone else's speech. You should at least have given 5 to 6 speeches before you even think about evaluating, because now you know what to look out for. So that's another thing. So sometimes you get like not seasoned evaluators. So those are 2 cons. And another con that I would say is that it really gets you focused on the delivery at times more than the message, where this is club by club, by the way. But you don't want to be one of those guys that focuses so much on the how that you completely undermine the what. Like you really need to take some time to understand what type of talk that you're giving. So those are some of the cons. The pros are literally the opposite, which is like the last con that I ended off with was it gets you really focused on the how versus the what. But nowadays, there's a thing called pathways. So you can choose the path that is best for you and your lifestyle. So let's say you want to be funnier. You could choose the comedy path. Let's say you want to be a better leader. Choose the dynamic leadership path. Let's say you want to work better in teams. Choose the team working path. So nowadays, like if you have the right path that is congruent to you, you want to work on the what, right? So the con from before was more so for, in my opinion, or actually I have it right now. This is called a competent communication. Anyone who's listening to this, I'm holding my first ever Toastmasters book. And in this book, like you're given speeches that like they give you direction and you're supposed to fill it in. And I believe this is actually good. Like the first speech is called the icebreaker, and you're supposed to tell the audience more about you. And you could take it however you want to take it. They just give you the direction, and now you have to sprinkle in the what. But when you can choose your path, now you're much more invested. Okay? Another pro in terms of Toastmasters is that you should view it as a social skills club that happens to teach public speaking. Because if you do it like that, you're not going to be one of those guys that just goes to the meeting, gives the speech, then leaves. Instead, you're going to take some time to network with people. And the people that go into Toastmasters, different walks of life. Like you're going to see entrepreneurs, you're going to see doctors, you're going to see lawyers, and much more. So network with them. It's a completely different circle that you're immersing in. And another pro with Toastmasters is the versatility of it all. It gives you different views of public speaking. Like in the beginning, go ahead and start off with impromptu speaking. Like you really learn a skill when there are a lot of eyeballs looking at you. But then it's like, wait a minute, like now I got the swag, like I got the courage to do impromptu speaking, and now it's much easier to do planned speaking. So you choose your path, you're doing the speeches, and eventually, as you've done a good amount of speeches, you do evaluations. It's like as you do evaluations, it's like, okay, now I know what to look out for. I know how to evaluate someone to bring out their best sides rather than destroy their confidence. How about I try something else? How about I'm the timer now? Now, as I'm the timer, I understand the importance of having a certain time in terms of creativity. Because some speakers are going to be like, well, I could speak for 30 minutes if you allow me to. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. There's a certain beauty to being done on time, right? But you don't have to undermine the creativity. As a matter of fact, having an allotted period of time gives you that clarity to thrive in creativity. So now you're the timer, and then you're like, how about I become the grammarian today? How about I be the counter today, the person who's counting the filler words? And just like that, you're building so many different perspectives of the skill set of public speaking.